Good morning, students. As you can see the new setup with the mic, because many of the students were saying that the sound system is not proper and the letters were not legible. So I tried my level best to make up setup which best suits your learning style. So before I start giving you the answers of this question, I seriously urge you not to see the video and try to answer this question and see if you can justify whatever is asked in the question. You might be having the surface idea of the chapter surface chemistry, but to have the deep idea, you need to split the hairs of each topic so that if you are asked the value point based questions, right, 8 points, 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, you should be able to design your answer. So the objective of learning through this medium is that your performance in the exam should be better, not that you should become only good in the wisdom of chemistry. So being good in wisdom of the chemistry can be attained by reading magazines also, but to be a good performer in the exam, you should know the points. So I'll just pause for a while. By this time you can also pause. You can click the pause button and then try to attempt this question mentally and see if you can recall all the 8 points or the points which has been asked in the question. Alright. Now you might have understood the importance of relearning the thing from the perspective of examiner's interest. First question is, show your acquaintance with the following terms. Now when these 4 terms are given, there must be some relation between them. Then only these 4 terms are given. So we have to understand what examiner is trying to ask you. The examiner is trying to ask you, do you understand the relation between adsorption and absorption? Here, yes, whatever you know you can write, like adsorption is accumulation of adsorbate on the surface of adsorbate. Then what is absorption? Absorption is bulk penetration of the adsorbate particles to some extent after surface adsorption. If you will see the previous experimental video which was shown to you, in which I had dipped the chalk into a colored solution, in that you might have seen that after the surface adsorption, some amount of color also went into the inner layers of the chalk. This was absorption taking place along with adsorption. That means adsorption may or may not take place alone. It may take place along with the absorption. So there is a word called as absorption, which we can define as both adsorption and absorption together is called as absorption. Now next is heat or enthalpy of adsorption. Why should adsorption take place? See, any process would take place spontaneously, or any process would take place on its own only if it is a downhill process. In the previous chapter I have given you the concept of downhill process, the process in which the system's component travels from high potential to low potential. That means when the association between the adsorbate and the absorbent takes place, then the complex formed or the system formed will have a lower energy as compared to the higher energy state of randomly moving gases or randomly moving solid particles. Now when the adsorbate and the absorbent will come together, then their system's energy will come down. when system's energy is coming down, that means energy will come out. This energy which comes out after adsorption or absorption takes place is called as heat change of adsorption or enthalpy of adsorption. So we can write as energy released when adsorption takes place. Is called as enthalpy of adsorption. It is denoted as delta H and it should always be a negative value. For exothermic process, we write delta H to be negative. In class 11th thermodynamics, you might have studied about this. This is not going to leave you. This concept is not going to leave you, and it will keep on reoccurring and reappearing in front of you, because these are the basic sciences which you have to apply as your thought process and design thinking. Now, mechanism of adsorption you have to explain in 8 steps, such that each step will be of half marks. Alright, what will be the first point? The first point will be that the particles on the surface have residual attractive unbalanced force. What is the meaning of that? I can draw one illustration and then I can erase it also, and I have space for illustration here too. As I had told you in the beginning, that the particle on the surface, they are in contact with 2 interfaces. One interface is with the air, one interface is with the vessel, it could be glass say, and another interface is with itself, that means the particles in the bulk. Now a particle in the bulk is attracted uniformly from all directions. So the cohesive force, that means the force of attraction among the molecules in the bulk, is uniform all around. But in case of the particles at the surface, they are less attracted by the gaseous particle and they are more attracted by the similar particle in the bulk. As a result, unbalanced force is developed as a residue. This attracts the adsorbent towards it. So next point would be the adsorbent gets attracted on the surface of adsorbent. Third point is more the surface area, more will be the extent of adsorption. Fourth point, after absorption takes place or adsorption leads to release of heat as delta H enthalpy, which is negative. Fifth point, the negative delta H value keeps delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S as negative value and spontaneous. So adsorption will keep on taking place till delta G will remain negative and delta S entropy will remain positive. So when delta G will be negative, that means Gibbs free energy will be negative, it will be a spontaneous process and adsorption will take place on its own. So delta G has to be negative, and we know that delta H is negative, this value is negative, and sum of two values, if they are negative, then delta G will also be negative and it will be spontaneous. Next is after adsorption, delta S value reduces. When randomly moving gaseous molecule, they become fixed on the surface of the adsorbent, then their entropy, that means degree of randomness, decreases. So that delta S value also decreases. Now as a result of which what happens, the negative delta G value slowly and slowly becomes 0, and at that time the rate of adsorption becomes equal to rate of desorption, and when any system comes in equilibrium, then we say that delta G is negative, delta G is 0. So when delta G is equal to 0 at equilibrium, the rate of adsorption equals to rate of desorption. That means no net absorption seems to happen anymore. And the 8th point would be adsorption process depends upon pressure and temperature. Say if we exert pressure on a particular gas, then it will remain adsorbed on the surface. In electrochemistry, when I was teaching you simple standard hydrogen electrode, in that I was telling you that hydrogen gas is made to remain adsorbed on the surface of platinum at 1 atmospheric pressure. That was standard hydrogen electrode. Similarly, a particular temperature is also maintained so that the kinetic energy of the gaseous molecule is not raised, as a result of which it may escape from the surface of the adsorbent. So it depends upon temperature and pressure on the particles too. So these are the 8 points which are there in your textbook, but it is in the form of paragraph. But if you have to write the same in the form of value points, then this is the way in which you should write in the exam, and then the examiner will give you the marks. I will show you how it will be. Let us move on to the next question. We have to give 8 points of differences between physisorption and chemisorption. The first point of difference is physisorption takes place due to van der Waals forces. Now those who are not able to relate what van der Waals forces is, I request you to go to the chapters related to the solid states, and there the different types of forces acting between the particles were taught. So this van der Waals force is actually a type of physical force which acts between two particles. After collision, they develop some kind of residual charge, and as a result of which they attract each other. This is called as van der Waals force of attraction. Chemisorption, on the other hand, takes place by chemical bond formation. Next, physics option is not specific. Chemistry option is specific. By saying that physics option is not specific and chemistry option is specific, I mean to say is that all adsorbent and all absorbent will not form the adsorbent complex in case of chemistry option. In case of chemistry option, the chemical property should be such that the bond formation should take place. So in case of chemistry option, it is specific for a particular adsorbent and a particular adsorbent. Like sulfur dioxide can only be adsorbed over vanadium pentoxide but not over platinum, whereas hydrogen can only be adsorbed over platinum, not over vanadium pentoxide, or maybe not of that extent. But physics option is just like adhesive force. It can act between any two surfaces, like water and any surface. It has some kind of adsorption property, it has some kind of adhesive property. So physics option is not specific, whereas chemistry option is specific. Next is physics option. Since it is a physical phenomena, it is reversible in nature. Whereas chemistry option is irreversible to a large extent. If I only say that it is irreversible, I may not be right, because there can be some cases in which it can be reversed by increasing temperature or decreasing pressure too. Next is fourth point. More compressible or liquefiable gas is more easily fizzes out. But in this case, the gases which can react with adsorbent can only form or can only get adsorbed. Since the extent of physics option is less than that of chemistry option, so its delta H value. Now I need not define what is delta H, because I have done that here itself. Delta H value ranges from 40 to 80 kilojoule per mole. Obviously negative value will be there because it is exothermic in nature. Since extent of chemistry option is more, the closeness between the particle in chemistry option will be more, so stability will be more, so heat evolved will also be more. So its range is delta H is equal to 80 to 240 kilojoule per mole. Physics option takes place at low temperature. It takes place at high temperature. Now, seventh point is, since it is a physical process, so no much activation energy is required. What does the activation energy do? It breaks the old bond to form the reactive intermediate so that the new bonds are formed. So since in physics option no new bonds are formed or no new old bonds are broken, so activation energy is not of that important in this case. So no activation energy is required. Seventh, activation energy is required. Eighth and the last point, since it is not specific and one layer can get adsorbed on the other layer, so this can undergo multi-molecular or multi-layer multi-layered adsorption can take place. And in this case, mostly unilayered adsorption occurs. Why unilayered adsorption occurs? Because once the chemical bond is formed, then there is no point why any other molecule should come and get or try to get adsorbed unless desorption takes place. So when all the surface is occupied with the help of a chemical bond, so no space is left for any more chemical bond to be formed, and it is specific in nature. But in case of physisorption, after the adsorbate is adsorbed on the adsorbent, then both adsorbate and adsorbent can start behaving like an adsorbent, and another layer of adsorption can take place because it is a physical process. So you can just use an analogy to understand this, that when you paste a layer of papers one above another, then it's kind of a thing called as physisorption. But when chemical bond has to take place, like if you want to put a certain type of color on a particular type of a surface, then all color cannot be put on all kind of surface. Example, you cannot put watercolor on glass because glass will require a kind of a chemical bond to be formed with the paint, but oil paint can be put over that. Similarly, you cannot put watercolor on wood, it will not be that good. So what we do, we put a layer of primary color, white colored primary color on that, and over that the other brownish colors can be added. So this kind of coloring is due to chemisorption process, and just putting wax color or crayon color or pencil color on the paper is kind of a physisorption. So this was the simplest way of understanding physisorption and chemisorption. Now if you see that the letters on the board are smaller, then what you can do, you can use your two fingers and stretch the screen, and the screen will become wider, and then you can see this. So in this way, in my upcoming videos, I will split the hairs of each topic so that in whatever way the question is asked to you, you will be able to answer. These questions can be asked also in the form of MCQ. I'll just give you an example. Like, what is the range of change of enthalpy in case of physisorption? Option A, 40 to 80 kJ per mole, 80 to 40 kJ per mole, 20 to 40 kJ per mole, 50 to 60 kJ per mole. Now when you know this data, you will be able to tick the right option. Answer the following statement is true or false. Physisorption takes place in multi-layered way and chemisorption takes place in unilayered way. True or false? Now when you know the difference, you will be able to answer such kind of objective questions also. So that is why it is required that yes, it is good that you go through the textbook and you have overview of that, But after you have the overview, you need to split the hairs of each topic. You know, in Hindi we call it as baal ka khal nikalna. So split the hairs so that your learning becomes conceptual and you dig deep into the topic. All right, dig the topic deeper so that you go so deep that even if you forget something, still you will remember as much as examiner at least wants to understand that you know that much. All right, but if you do surface study and if you feel that yes, I know enough and I will be able to perform in the examination, then what will happen? You will be able to remember a few points and the other points you will not be able to remember. As a result, what will happen? You will get partial marks and you will feel why did you get less marks. Now see, for these all 4 points you will get 1 mark each. 1 1 1 1, so 4 marks. For these 8 points you will get half marks for each, and then you will get 4 marks. And for these 8 points, half marks for each, and you will get 4 marks. But only and only if you are able to recall these 8 points. But how will you recall these 8 points? The simple way of recalling the points to be written in the exam is to revise, rewrite and remember. Then you can recall. So the 4 R's which are important for writing good in the exam is remember, revise, rewrite and recall. So listen to this video whenever you think of revising it, and stay tuned for the upcoming videos with splitted hair concepts. Thank you.